to ask you a few questions about climate change. First of all, what do you know about climate change?
I know that it is very real and pertinent to today's society.
It's changing the temperatures, weather conditions, and the environment.
It's something that's caused by a lot of the different activities and behaviors that we show as humans.
Number one being greenhouse gas emissions, which are gases like carbon dioxide.
So, I'm not an expert on climate change, but certainly can see some of the effects of it.
Do you think that the government is doing enough to stop climate change?
I don't believe that the government is doing enough.
I do not think that the government is doing enough.
I think it's not something that one country can do alone.
However, I'm hopeful that over the next couple years they will start doing something because they see how important this is to our generation.
Why do you think climate change is caused?
It's anything from, our carbon footprints as humans, right? How much we use things like electricity, other renewable energy sources, cars, petrol, gas.
Advancements, factories spilling stuff into the waterways, dumping things, burying things, emitting smoke and chemicals into the atmosphere. I think all those have detrimental effects to the environment.
I believe that if we don't start focusing on climate change a little more, it's going to impact all aspects of our communities.
If human beings don't start reducing their usage of fossil fuels and taking care of some of the things that they're doing in regards to waste, like not recycling enough, things along those lines, our planet's going to be impacted negatively.
I believe it'll impact our businesses, economies, education, everyday living in just very drastic ways over the course of time.
What do you think we can do to stop it?
Wow, that's a tough one.
It's a good question. I think there has to be a realization that this is an issue and that it's an issue that we all have a stake and a part in solving.
I think at this point we would probably need some fundamental changes in policies and regulations.
I think I really look towards the younger generation to help us drive those policies and practices forward.
I think it's a challenging thing right now.
What do you do to stop climate change?
It's small things, right? Recycling. So I'm a big believer in recycling and make sure that about 6 months ago our trash service stopped doing recycling, and so we switched over to another service that offered recycling. I think that's something that we can all do that's a very easy step to take.
So I recycle as much as possible.
Very small things. I'm also hopeful that I do more in the future, but I don't eat as much meat anymore. I recycle and try not to use as much plastic as I used to in the past.
What do you do to help climate change?
Well, I try to recycle. I try to be responsible in what I purchase. I try to find green solutions for energy.
Me and my family, we try to do errands in one run. We do all of them through a week once, so we don't have to keep doing little column jumps, and we also recycle.
We do small things. So, for example, when we're looking at the ways that we use water, we're switching taps off between brushing and things like that. We make sure that our dishwasher is full before we run it. We don't run half-empty things. Similar with laundry, so we're using less water when we do our laundry at home, just making sure that we've got full laundry loads before we put them in.
Try to do as much as possible in regards to having a well-insulated home, using LED light bulbs, making sure that I discard of toxic waste properly, things to be able to reduce some of my usage on things that produce carbon emissions.
Thank you for your time.
So things like solar, things like just more energy efficient and responsible choices. That's probably what I do.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
In conclusion, people had a general idea of what climate change is and how it is affecting the Earth.
People had about the same stance and position on climate change.
The people of the world must come together to stop this epidemic.